Okay, we are recording. Hello. Welcome to the Getting Started Right with a Jubilant Nation. I'm Amanda Travis, and I'm probably your upline, or maybe you are in one of my coaches' teams, and I just want to welcome you again. And what this video is going to hopefully do is kind of fill in a little bit more of the gaps. You've probably received a series of emails this week leading up to this video just to kind of explain some of the basics about the business, and I'm going to do a little bit more tonight talking to you about how you're going to launch your business and what you need to know for that. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to jump all the way back to the beginning there. I just want to make this bigger. There, that looks better. Okay, so getting started right. What do we need to know, right? First off is the 4 vital behaviors. You are going to hear that phrase a lot. Basically, these are the 4 most important things to do every day. When you're on vacation, you still do them every day. I mean, yes and no. You want to be doing these things every week, and how you divide them up is totally up to you. But you don't want to completely fall off the grid at any point from these 4 things, because that will be really detrimental to your business. This business is very momentum driven. For example, I had a month that I was really struggling in the business, and I was pushing so hard at the end of the month. And because of that, the beginning of the next month, my business exploded. So it's always building, and the work that you're putting in pays out over a longer period of time. It's not automatic. Like the people I'm talking to this week aren't necessarily going to sign up, but they might sign up anytime in the next 4 years. But by doing the groundwork, you're always building. So the 4 vital behaviors: being proof the products work. That means working out and drinking Shakeology and eating healthy. I have included some posts. This is actually this morning. This is my workout this morning while on vacation. I'm being proof. I'm using the BOD. Being proof the product works, talking about Shakeology. Being proof the product works, showing a transformation post. And it is not a coincidence that I'm wearing the same color in these pictures. That helps make it more authentic looking, I think. If you picked a picture where you're like laying down and compare it to one where you're standing up and sucking in, people aren't really sure what's real there. And I was trying to show the change in just my face, basically. The second vital behavior is invite, invite, invite. They say it 3 times because it's super important. I included a post here of an invitation to a free group that I'm doing next month. So always having things to invite people to is very important. I basically always have 3 things that I invite people to: free groups, challenge groups, or coaching. And when in doubt, like if you're inviting to challenge groups and they're like, no, invite them to a free group. I have an ongoing forever accountability group that's free. And some people in there are customers, but there's a ton that are in there that are free. And then I always do a short free group. Sometimes I do it inside the other group, but so always having something to invite people to. The third vital behavior is personal development. And I kind of categorize it 2 ways: personal development and professional development. If you are watching a video like this one, a training, anything that's teaching you better how to do better in the business, it's kind of professional development, but it totally counts. Do PD every day. even if it's just 10 minutes. This book is a book that I've been reading for a few months because it's very good, but it's got a ton in there. And I don't have a ton of time to read, so I don't do as well with the personal development as I should. I do a lot more professional development, but taking at least a book and however long it takes you to get through it, and 1 or 2 days out of the week, make sure that your PD time is cracking open that book and reading a chapter is a very good way to grow your mind. And then you can talk about it on social media and share with people what you're learning, and people will think, I mean, I never did PD until I did this business. So a lot of times people will think, oh, maybe I should read something that betters my life too. So it's another good way to share what you're learning and going through. And then the fourth vital behavior is recognition and giving love to the people in your life that are helping you move forward. So whether it's doing a shout out to a challenger, or hopefully you guys who are watching this have received a shout out for joining the team, just that kind of thing. It boosts people's day and it makes other people think, wow, she really pours into these people and recognizes their efforts. And I think it creates excitement about the business and what you're doing in the groups that you run. Questions. You will be having millions of questions as you go through. And this is your little list that should guide you on how you find answers to your questions. And the very important thing about this list is that you need to kind of go through it in the order that it has. The reason why is because if you start right down here with me, I'm number 6 probably. I might be your number 7 as well. If you start off with me, it's not that I don't want to answer your questions. I'm happy to. A lot of times they're super easy, right? And you will be sending me questions directly, and that's fine. But there's a reason why. I think people who look for the answer themselves first show a ton of initiative. And initiative gets you very far in this business. Why you wouldn't want to start with number 5 is because the page gets cluttered then, and the important information that we put in there for everyone to see gets pushed further and further down. So the first thing you want to do when you have a question is go to the online office. Search the FAQs. If you think it's something someone from Beachbody could answer for you, do a live chat. Those are super easy. You've probably all done them already. You go to contact us at the bottom, live chat, type in your question, someone will answer you. You can also email or call Coach Relations. Those are always easy. Searching the FAQs is easy, but you don't always find what you want, right? The team website, this is Sean's team. She's 2 teams above me. So I don't have my own website yet. So for the time being, you're going to search teamextremeinspiration.wordpress.com, and hopefully you can find an answer to something there. Google and YouTube. 3 and 4 will find you your answer almost always, unless it's something that's super specific to our team. If you go on Google, or if you want to learn about how to do something, go to YouTube. There are a ton of Beachbody coaches that make videos all the time explaining how to do stuff. I wanted to use the sauna for a while. I watched video after video on YouTube. I wanted to make this video that I'm making you right now. So I watched a whole bunch of videos on getting started right calls. So YouTube and Google probably have the answer for you, but we don't always think to do them. So check there first. You can go to our team Facebook pages, the Team Extreme Inspiration page, Haley's page, Team Passion United, or my page. The Extreme Inspiration page is probably the fastest because it has the most people on it. So if you typed in your question, you would get an answer probably pretty quick if someone on there knows the answer. And then, of course, you can check with your sponsor coach or your Diamond upline if you've struck out at all of those. Now, I do want to, again, put a disclaimer. You can always contact me. But sometimes, like I said, it is good to find it yourself. So if you can, try 1 through 5 before you hit with me. Okay. The other thing you really want to do is try to stay connected. Being a part of this business is about being a part of a community, and you're going to love it and you're going to fall in love with it. But if you're someone who wasn't super into social media before, it does kind of feel a little bit overwhelming at times. But these are some of the things, the ways that you can stay connected and will help you grow really a lot. Participating in trainings. So I think she's pretty consistent about having 1 a week. Sometimes we don't, but having a team training. If you can't hop on live, that's okay. You can always watch the playback and it counts as your PD for the day, right? But when you can hop on live, I would try to do that. I always aim to be on live because you can sense that you feel more a part of the team. You feel like you're having a conversation with her direct, even if I don't say a whole word, just because, and I think it's nice for the person doing the training too, to feel like there's people listening in. Connecting with your sponsor. I always like to connect with my coaches. So whether it's meeting with you one-on-one or talking on the phone, those are always good ways for us to stay connected. Checking into the team pages. I try to make I definitely make it a habit. It's on my daily to-do list to check the team pages every day, just in case I miss something through notifications. So obviously you get notifications, but you can also just go to the page once a day, scroll down until you've scrolled past what you know you've seen, and just make sure there's nothing you need to check out, no videos you need to watch, that kind of thing. A lot of times it takes 2.5 seconds or the length of whatever person's video is on the page. Attending live events. So these are all pictures from live events. This was a team retreat here. Up in the corner there is a Super Saturday event, which I would highly strongly encourage. They used to do them every quarter, but they replaced the summer one with Summit, so there's 3 a year. Then there is, these 3 pictures were all from Summit. So Summit next year is in Indianapolis, so I hope that if you're listening to this and you are joining the team, that you will work very hard in order to be at Summit with us. It's going to be a great time. It was life-changing. I loved it so much. Attending live events is huge. Listening in on team calls. That's similar to trainings. There sometimes are videos that get posted. Sometimes there are groups that are formed that are short-term. Anything that the team runs, like they might run a Push to Emerald group or something like that, that might be a week long. You can always do any of those things. They're great ways to stay connected and to keep pushing yourself. Listening to the National Wake Up Call, highly recommend that. It's put on every Monday. I oftentimes just catch it on Tuesday on my way to work. And then staying on top of the coach breaking news. So when you log on to your online office, right on the right-hand side is something called the Coach Breaking News, and there's little headlines, and they put out a couple every week. So check that out every day, every couple days at least. There's a lot of times where people put questions on the team page, and I'm like, oh, that's in the Coach Breaking News. So it's pretty easy to get a lot of your answers to your questions if you stay on top of that. Okay, what you're all dying to know is when and how am I going to share my story? Because this is what's so scary to new coaches, right? So you don't have to bear it all. you can ask me for more examples if you want. You can have me preview it for you. You can, you know, write out your wording or whatever and ask for feedback. You want to be very authentic when you write a post. And I find it's easy, it's best to just be brave and push post on the post and then just walk away. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about a couple here. So this first one in the corner, January to July, was my coming out as a Beachbody coach post. And honestly, I didn't use the word Beachbody, I don't think, in the description. I talked about how I had been working on transforming myself. And yes, I did show my stomach in that picture. And that is probably what made it the scariest. You know, I was proud of the change I had made that far, but obviously I'm not where I want to be in my after at that point. And so it made it scarier almost, because I was like, oh, people are going to be like, that's not that impressive or whatever. So I just had to get out of my head and push post. I got tons of response, and it's mentioning how I wanted to help other people stay accountable to their goals. I was kind of teasing it out there. I didn't come out and say, ta-da, I'm a Beachbody coach, join my group. I was just kind of talking about how I was changing and getting a little bit of love and support from people and saying that I wanted to help others. So then I followed it up a few days later with basically a post about joining a challenge group. And I had like a ton of people in that challenge group, like 40 or 50 people. It was crazy. They didn't all sign up with challenge packs by any means. But I got a lot of people interested, and a lot of those people are now my customers and still with me every month. So that was my first official post. Now I have some other examples here to show you. This one is, this one in the jacket here is from, I think, this winter, obviously. And I put on this post, this jacket, and I walked by the year before's Christmas card where I was wearing that jacket. And I was like, oh my goodness, I have to put those pictures side by side. And I threw it up on Instagram. And I think what I wrote was pretty meaningful. But my friend Haley called me later, and you guys know Haley called me later, and she was like, oh my gosh, you broke the internet. Look at how many people are freaking out about your before and after. So this is a good example of how before and afters don't have to show your stomach and be, you don't have to be so worried about that. Down in the bottom corner, again, it's another before and after, fully clothed. I was trying to show the difference in my face, which was crazy to me. I can hardly stand the picture, the before picture. I came across it, and it was one of those things where it shocks you, because you get gradually used to seeing yourself gain weight, and then you get gradually used to seeing yourself lose weight, and you forget. I just don't remember ever feeling that, like I felt that bad. But I do remember being super unhappy at the time that first picture was taken. So again, doesn't have to show everything, and I think those kind of posts really are a good way to show people what you're going through. And then this before and after I just did recently. The before is a picture from Nashville Summit, and I had just signed up to coach, and everyone went to Summit, and I was like, I wish I was there. And so this year when I was at Summit, I did a side-by-side from the Nashville post, and just talking about what it meant to me to have just made that dream come true over the last year. And so that's another kind of way, and you're always going to be sharing your story. You know, the first post is the scariest, but you're always sharing your story. So just keep thinking of things like that, that you can talk about the change from how you felt before to how you feel now, because that's what's going to speak to the people that you want to speak to. Okay. So, what do successful coaches have in common? And obviously, I'm using my own examples. I'm not trying to say that I'm the only successful coach or anything like that. I am just trying to help you get to know me a little bit better and talk about the things that have worked for me. So the 3 things that I think are important in being a successful coach is to add value, to be super consistent, and to always be sharing your story, right? We just talked on the last slide about what sharing your story looks like. Here's some more examples. When it's talking about adding value, you want to think about the things that are super important to you. I love cooking, so you see a couple of beautiful recipes here. I like to share recipes with people. I also like to share little tips. You got the drinking water post. This one up here in the workout room, I covered it up accidentally, but I had put kinesio tape on my legs, so I was talking about that, and that gets people interesting because I'm a physical therapist and I have certain educational opportunity to share with people about what I know. The picture down below shows scars and different things, and I was talking about my daughter's surgeries and what she's been through and relating it to my thyroid cancer and what I've been through. And I like to talk about that stuff because those are the people that I'm trying to reach out to, and they fall into my niche, so to speak, and they're the people that I want to attract. So that's the kind of content I like to give. And I'm constantly trying to keep pushing myself to share the things that I think will attract those people, but you just have to be consistent. I post probably more than a lot of people, probably 5-6 times a day. You don't have to post that much. 3 to 4 times a day would probably be fine. And my content is hit or miss. I post stuff that I think is going to like revolutionize people's minds, and nobody likes or comments or says it meant anything to them. So, and other times you throw up a dumb picture and you get a ton of attention for it. So just keep sharing yourself. That's where the consistency really pays off, because you have no idea who's watching. And I can think of example after example of this in my life and in other coaches' lives, where someone just seemed to come out of the clear blue sky and was like, you're always talking about this and I want to try it too. And you don't know who's watching. So those are the 3 things you want to strive to do on social media. So how do you do this, right? Okay, these are the important things to note. You want to run a free group, and you don't have to like reinvent the wheel. The Team Extreme Inspiration page has a free group. Hopefully by now you've been a part of my free group. Any of the other coaches on our team that you might follow or know, if they're running a free group and that information sounds like something you'd like to do, ask them for their information. We're all a team and we share, okay? So you don't have to completely out of the gate come up with your own information. Don't be afraid to ask for help, okay? There are tons of resources on our Team Extreme Inspiration page, and other sites, again, hitting YouTube, that kind of thing. You can look for ideas. You want to be a listener when you talk to potential challengers. I have had many instances where somebody slightly asked a question and I word vomited like a 2-hour response to. You guys may have gotten those. And that's not how you want to do. You want to answer in short sentences and let them ask a follow-up question. It's not always like an emergency to close the deal today and you have to give them all the information. So by not word vomiting on people, a lot of times it's going to make the whole process a lot easier. So just briefly answer their question and ask them a follow-up question to get them to, keep the conversation going. You're supposed to focus on being interested, not interesting. So you are listening to find out their why, their reason for wanting to find out more information. Are they looking for something for their health? Are they depressed? Do they have body aches and they struggle to get up the stairs? Or have they noticed their kids are starting to pick up their bad habits? What is their reason for contacting you? Because if you know that, that is like the golden ticket. It's not about your story all the time. It's about connecting with them and finding out their reason for approaching you, okay? Use posting software. It is like my pet peeve that people do not take care to make their posts look good, okay? We talk all the time about having the stop your scroll factor, right? Someone's scrolling through Facebook, and I could post a recipe that looks like garbage. Who's gonna stop on it to find out what it is? Other than maybe to be like, ew. You want your food pictures to look beautiful. So someone's like, ooh, what are you eating? You want your workout pictures to be clear, and even though you're sweating, you want to be smiling. Or, you want to cause people to stop and say, what is she talking about today? And that is how you're going to get people to follow you and start to get to know you and all of that stuff. So don't just post blurry pictures, add graphics to them. It takes a few seconds once you get good at it to start making your pictures a little bit more fun and eye-catching. So if you need ideas for that, let me know. You can follow top coaches. I'm going to put a disclaimer on this to use caution. Don't go overboard. Don't copy them. Don't compare yourself to them. Those are all going down a wrong road. But it is nice to look at some of the professionals and remember that success leaves clues. So if you get to know some of the coaches that you've heard about and see if any of them vibe with you, and every coach on our team that I talk to, they'll be like, I follow so-and-so, and it's a completely different person because we all meshed with someone else, right? Like I really love Allie Upham because she went to school to be a PT and then she decided to go into this. And so I love reading her stuff because of that factor. And I think she's super fun and positive. She kind of has the personality I wish I had, which is funny because I'm not like her at all. But that takes the pressure off because I don't really try to copy her because I'm not like her. But I just like her stuff and just seeing how she does things. So finding a couple that you really like and checking their stuff out from time to time doesn't hurt, as long as you're careful to not let it get in your head too much. You need to know your why also. I talked about you have to find out your challengers' whys, the people you're trying to choose whys, but you have to know your why and let that always keep motivating you. Doing all of these things are going to build credibility and trust. It's not like opening the floodgates. We told you this is not a get rich quick scheme, right? But as you are consistent, people are going to start to trust you. They're going to be like, hey, that girl decided she was going to start working out, and 6 months later, she's still doing it. She's still showing up. I think she's legit. It might take that long. I've been doing it a year and a half. Oh, well, I've been working out consistently a year and a half. I've only been coaching a year. And people are definitely more often talking to me now, like, you're doing so good and you're staying consistent, and it's definitely a lifestyle change, and you're not just, you know, in it for a crash diet kind of thing. And you have to know your audience. When I was talking about the kind of posts that I do, how I was trying to attract the people that I want to speak to, you have to look at yourself and figure out what those people are. What is your niche? What things are you really good at? What things make you really passionate? So like I said, for me, it's cooking. I like to do little quirky tips, whether they're DIY tips or just little life hacks, I call them, things that make life easier for busy people, because I'm a mom of 4 who has 2 jobs. What else? Oh, my daughter has a medical condition, and I had thyroid cancer, and those are 2 big things in my life. And so I put out content to try to attract those kind of people. So you have to know the audience that you're speaking to. And what I did when I first started is I was trying to speak to everybody, and you can't be everybody's everything. So by kind of honing in on the people that I want to connect with, it's made it so much easier. So take a day, a piece of paper, and just brainstorm, not a day, 5 minutes, brainstorm who the people you are that you want to reach out to, and be thinking about that when you do your posts. Okay, so that was how to get people in. What's going to happen as a result? Big things can happen in your life. And I want you to dream big and have a big vision. So I started last year in July. I had no idea what I was doing. I would jot down a couple goals every month, things like cover my Shakeology, make X amount of dollars, that kind of thing. But I didn't really know what I was doing. And then come January, I had been doing it about 6 months, and I was starting to see what happens in other people's lives. And so I made a vision board, and this is it. Will I hit every one of these goals? No. For instance, read 2 to 4 books a month. Well, that has failed miserably. So now I know I'm going to make maybe 5 books for my 2018 goal. And obviously financial goals, things like that we want to save up for. I'm not sure if we'll hit all these goals, but I'm working on them, and I probably didn't dream super big, but you can think beyond this too. Okay, this is just for a year, so obviously I couldn't go crazy. But you can, even if it's just to sit in a quiet room and spend 10 minutes imagining beyond your wildest imagination what you want your life to be like. Do you have $50,000 of debt to pay off? Do you want to help one of your parents retire and give them back to them? Do you want to pay for your kids' college education? Whatever it is, big, scary goals. Think about them, write them down, whatever. You can make smaller goals for like a year. You can make even smaller ones for the month. That's the kind of stuff that will lead to success, by constantly evaluating where you are and where you want to be. Okay? So, perfect life, go ahead and imagine it. We can dream big. If you're just looking to cover your shakes, to hold yourself accountable, make a couple extra $100 a month, those things are all possible. Earning 6 or 7 figures, it's possible. It's not going to happen the first year, I doubt, but it's definitely possible. So don't rule anything out, and we will work on hitting those goals. So what are the goals for the first month going to look like? A little bit like this, okay? You are going to learn how to craft your very own new coach announcement. Hopefully you have some ideas from what we've talked about. You're going to learn how to use social media the right way. You probably don't want to use too many types of social media all at once. So if you're most comfortable on Facebook, do that. If you like Instagram, do that. There are trainings specific to all sorts of types of social media. You are going to want to run a free group, and you're going to want to pour a lot into your first few free groups. They get easier the longer you do them. You can just throw stuff out there. But that is where paying clients will come from. So the more value you can add into a free group, the more likely you are to get people to sign up for an actual challenge group. You're going to want to try to work toward achieving Emerald. It took me a few months. I think October maybe is when I hit Emerald. People can do it in the first week they're a coach. All it takes is you having 2 people sign up under you as a coach, which sounds like, well, how am I going to find someone who wants to do this? You don't. You can just find someone who wants to drink Shakeology for a couple months. They sign up as a discount coach on either side, and you've hit Emerald. One could be your husband. One could be your mom. It's really not that hard once you start talking about what you're doing. Some of your good friends and family are going to want to get involved as well. So achieving Emerald sounds scary because it's like a rank advancement. What does that mean? Well, it's not that scary. You can do it. Then to hit Diamond, you hear about that a lot. You have to have 4 coaches on each side, and 1 on each side has to have 2 and be Emerald. Okay? So I had like, I don't know, 12 coaches, 13 maybe. So I had like 6 or 7 on each side, but I still didn't have any Emerald, so I wasn't Diamond. And then one of the coaches on one side was my husband, so I put a couple under him, and he became Emerald. And then I had a coach on my other side become Emerald, and I became Diamond in June. So it was just before my 1-year anniversary. So whenever it happens, we will continue to work on building toward that. The reason why that's super important is because you start to make more money. So the sooner you can do that, the better. The other thing you get is you get things like leads, which means that Beachbody will give you customers. So that's always good. Once you start hitting Emerald, and then if you hit Success Club, and then keep growing, you get more more money from the residuals at that point. You have to start planning out when you're going to run your first challenge group. And I'm going to give you an opportunity to either, you definitely may say, you know what, I've been in a bunch of challenge groups with people, I'm ready to do this, and dive in. It doesn't have to be perfect. The people in there don't care. They don't know. Most of them are your really good friends, right? My first challenge group was, I think, 45 days, so it was long. And it was pretty big, so it was hard for me to spend a lot of time interacting with people, and I was super disorganized at that point. But I thought it was a lot of fun, and I think a lot of people were really active in it. So I was just making it up as I went along. In fact, I did that for the first few months. It wasn't until November and December that I started to really feel like I clicked with running challenge groups and get a system worked out. So you definitely can dive in and do it yourself, or you can co-lead one with me, and there will be some expectations for that. I'm not going to make it completely easy on you. I'm going to make you do a little bit of the work, but that is definitely doable. You want to work to hit Success Club, and I gave you in one of the emails just kind of the bare minimum foundation about what Success Club is. It's just, you get points for different things. You get 2 points if you sign up coach. You get 2 points if you sell a challenge pack, and you get 2 points if you sell someone Shakeology on Home Direct. Okay. You are not supposed to ever get more than 2 points for a person. Sometimes, like if I sell someone a challenge pack and a month later they really like it and want to keep doing Shakeology and they sign up as a discount coach, sometimes you will get more points, but and sometimes you'll get audited and they'll get taken away. So just to let you know, but your goal is to help 3 new people a month, right? Then you would hit Success Club 6. And 3 to 5 means you would hit Success Club 6 to Success Club 10. And those are just basically the benchmarks for success in the business. If you are a brand new coach and it is your first month as a coach, then reaching for success starters should always be your first goal. What that means is for your first full 3 months. So let's say you signed up on the 20th of the month. That month does not count. The next month will be your first full month as a coach, and you want to hit Success Club your first 3 months as a coach. So I signed up technically in June, but I didn't really start coaching till July. I hit Success Club in July, August, and September of last year. So I was a success starter. What that means is you get I think you get a phone call from Carl Deichler, like it's pre-recorded, but it's kind of cool. And you also get a free ticket to Summit. So that's super awesome. So if you are eligible for Success Starters, make that your goal. And last, you want to complete the New Coach University training, which is probably starting shortly on the 1st of the month, and it will be somewhat self-guided, so you will get to hold yourself a little bit accountable to that, and I will be teaching you all the basics of the business in more depth than this video, and we will get you going. You're going to be doing stuff at the same time, so you're kind of be learning by doing all as you go through that first month. Okay, so that is what I have for you tonight. If you had questions during this video, I hope you wrote them down, because part 2 is a live Q&A, and that will be happening at the time that I gave you prior to watching this. And so you can hop on and ask me any questions you came up with as I went through this process with you. I'm excited for your future as a coach, and I can't wait to hear from you. I hope everyone has a wonderful day.